All right. So before we start this show, I want to interject the fact that we are not financial advisors. We're not licensed financial advisors. We don't pretend to be. And nothing that we may discuss during the course of this show about any financial decisions that we have made are meant to be in any way interpreted by you, the listener, as advice as to what you should or should not do.
Which means I don't know if the listeners have been privy to this. I think they have, but Damashe finally got his Fidelity account set up.
No, they, I don't think I told anybody that.
Yeah, I don't
until today. I
That's
don't think
the
it made it
problem
on the show.
with this show is
We talked so much that we don't remember what, I'm pretty sure that didn't come up on the show.
okay. I don't know. We've been talking about you doing it for years though, so it might have.
I mean, it's come up that I need to do it. Whether it came up that I actually have done it is an entirely different thing. So I bought some Ford stock.
Oh, did you? Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And I was looking at NVIDIA.
You're looking at NVIDIA?
I'm watching NVIDIA because I don't want to get in where they're at right now.
Did you add it to your watch list?
I did.
Okay. I need to use watch lists more.
Will it send me notifications?
I need to use watch lists more.
Oh, so you don't know if it'll send me notifications.
I got no clue, man. None at all.
And you know what? It's entirely possible when I was installing the app that it asked for notifications and I said no because I was like, I don't know what the hell you need to notify me about. Go away. I'll check and see.
Oh, I love the notifications. Like if you turn them off, I would turn them back on because what I appreciate about it is it sends you a notification confirming when your actual trade makes or when you've actually made your trade. And like this morning, I bought some mutual funds, but the mutual funds don't actually get purchased until after close of trading. So I forgot that I bought those mutual funds until I got the notification this evening saying your mutual fund order is complete. Here's the price you purchased them at. Here's how many shares of the mutual fund you purchased.
So to head off the flood of emails, which mutual fund did you purchase, Mike? Not that you're advising people to head off all the emails we're going to get of people. Well, which one did Mike purchase? Which
one of the Fidelity ones.
Not that we're saying you should go buy it because Mike bought it, but somebody would ask.
I am invested into Fidelity Freedom 2055 significantly too, which is actually a fund that I appreciate because it's more
Stable.
open to risk. No, that one is not stable. That one's more open to risk, which I've had more significant return on my investment. Of course, it's more liable to lose a lot more as well. But because I don't know if you've discovered this, but even if you go look at the charts in different instruments that you can purchase, like stocks or some of the mutual funds or et cetera. Those are the biggest words that I know. But you can use the describe chart or it will play the audible chart for you.
Yeah, I've played around with that a little bit. I mean, I've never looked at their app prior to a couple of weeks ago, and then I finally got an account connected so I could actually move money over there. But I can say that was fairly decent. Like they're at least taking advantage of features that I believe you have to be aware of voiceover in order to take advantage of things like the audio graphs. I'm not certain that's just you did some basic stuff right, so you now get this.
Now I do have some complaints. Just saying, one of my biggest complaints is when you're looking at your account profile and you're looking at all of your shares, it is laid out visually. And if you explore by touch, you can determine this as a table. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but it looks like a table. You can sort it like a table, but you cannot navigate it with voice over table commands. So you can't go to a column and then change your rotor to rows and then flick down.
There's a deal on Claude Code for Teams. Claude for Teams.
What's Claude for Teams?
It's Claude for your team.
What's the deal?
It just means they make you, it's not a deal you're going to be interested in.
Okay.
You're not getting a whole lot. I mean, you're probably getting more than you get individually at $20 a month, but you got to pay annually. You pay annually for a minimum probably of 2 users is
right.
What I'm guessing. I hadn't actually looked.
I hit my limit in Claude yesterday for the first time. It was a very sad time.
You did what now?
I hit my limit in Claude for the first time yesterday.
Oh.
It was a very, very sad time. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a project.
That's when it happens. Because
like,
then
how much is that next plan? $100 a month?
Say, that's when you're more likely to be like, let me go add some more money to this thing somewhere, some kind of way. Like, I got to do something.
So do you know if you add more money to your, like, because you can add money to Claude, right?
Yeah, you can add money to your API account.
Okay, but if you're signed in with your Claude account, then will it roll over to your API account when you hit those limits, or how does that work?
I'm actually going to tell you in a second.
So you hit your limit recently?
Nope.
Oh.
Okay, so Claude apparently doesn't know how Claude works.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it surprises me a little bit that Claude doesn't know how Claude works, because Claude seems to be smarter than some of the other LLMs, but it also doesn't surprise me because ChatGPT often doesn't know how ChatGPT works.
Yeah, so I would expect to know how his pricing works, but it just completely gave me the wrong answer. Like, absolutely. And I know it's wrong because this is how Claude Code was when it first started. You did have to have API credits. It did not connect to your account. Now you can just log in from the terminal with your account, which is a thing, because that's what I did as soon as they flipped that switch. Claude says, nope, it does not matter what your Claude subscription is. It's pulled from API credits only, which is a lie. You're a lying, Claude. You lie. And you know what? I don't care now.
So I installed Claude on a Raspberry Pi. I did not install... Nope, I did not. I just installed Claude on a Raspberry Pi. And then I said, hey, Claude, will you go install Moltbot for yourself? And it said, no, I will not install it for you. Here are the security reasons why I will not. And I found this article and this article. However, if you would like to install it, then I recommend following the documentation in the repo. And what else and to not provide Moltbot with any live credentials.
Did you ask it for ways to secure Moltbot so that you could use it? Or
I did
just
not.
Stop?
I just stopped because I don't remember what I was doing. But
speaking of repo, you sent me a link I need to go grab.
Did you get invited to a repo?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Speaking of repos, you invited me to a repo. Or that reminds me, I need to go click that link.
And I built it on the Mac, so you should be able to easily run it. I don't know how, but go for it.
Did you have Claude write documentation?
Oh, I'm sure there's documentation in there.
Oh, okay.
If not, have Claude write documentation for you and then push it to the repo.
I mean, I did this once for you already.
I know.
So, for people listening who are not aware, although this thing really kind of blew up, last week. So I'm going to say, I don't know if I listened. Yeah. Did I? I can't remember now. If I listened to this, no, I didn't. So we recorded last Thursday, I think.
Yes.
As we're supposed to normally. That is the new day. So on Connected, which is a show that me and Mike both listened to, which I didn't listen. I'm pretty sure I didn't listen to it until Friday, because otherwise we would have talked about it last week. And I know we did not talk about Claude Bot. I don't think. I'm fairly certain we did not. See, you know what? This is why we need like a live stream and a Discord or something, so people can chime in and be like, no, actually you did talk about it, and this is what you said. And you both said you were going to try it out later, which is entirely possible what we said. We ain't looked at it. We heard about it. We ain't tried it out. But anyway, Claude Bot was a thing built by a developer in the, I want to say in the Mac community. I'll say definitely he's an Apple user, even if it's not in the Mac community. Anyway, he built this tool, and essentially to kind of strip it down to the simplest thing is he built a way to communicate with Claude Code using different messaging platforms. So he created a gateway where you can send an iMessage, which I don't know how that works. I think it just kind of pulled from, I don't know what it does with iMessages. I don't actually know what it does with any of it because I haven't installed it yet. But your options that I saw that people will be familiar with for sure, you can do it with iMessage. I think there's some caveats there, of course, because it's Apple and iMessages. Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram, and there was another one.
And there's a web interface.
And there's a web interface. There's a few other messaging services there that you could use also if you use those services. But anyway, you can send messages back and forth send messages. It'll do things. Now, this is essentially, I'm going to again kind of simplify this. So it's essentially taking something like Claude Code that runs in your terminal and giving it instructions that says you have complete access to my computer and you can do this, this, and this on the internet and yada, yada, yada. So you're basically giving it a ton of access, or you don't have to, but you can give it a lot of access to stuff and allow it to go off and do things. Which I think what I said to Mike at some point when we discussed this, whether it was or not on the show, was this is sort of what I have been kind of off and on, more on lately than off, tinkering with, trying to build. It's not exactly the thing, but it's very close to what I've been trying to build and what I want and what I think AI tools could ultimately lend all of us. There's also a clever demonstration of a different approach to this in Jensen Huang's, what is this event that just happened? CES, keynote. Starts at about 19 minutes in, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody builds a personal assistant. Now they're, advertising their NVIDIA chips. So you gotta, you want to buy the NVIDIA desktop machine that does yeah. But anyway, I want a personal assistant because there are lots of things that, number one, I'm not putting anybody out of a job because there's not a personal assistant I can afford to hire at the moment. Honestly, I hadn't looked, to be fair. So if you know anybody that's a personal assistant that can handle a lot of things and they may be interested in working, they're not terribly expensive because I am not yet a super powerful CEO that gets invited to stupid events that I shouldn't go to anyway because I should be embarrassed to do such things. Reach out. We'll have a conversation. But I've been trying to build tools so that I can do things where if I drop a message here, now the messaging part of Claude Bot really kind of grabbed my attention. It's like, I don't need to figure out a way to route my messages or my input to a LLM and then have it process that data. Like, I could just send an iMessage or a Signal message is what I was sending because our conversation should be encrypted. Me and this bot, is the way I feel. And so it can go out and do a lot of things on your behalf. If you don't listen to Connected, last week's episode was a pretty good one. They do have chapters, so you can skip right to the Claude Bot section. Federico Viticci also wrote an article about it over on Mac Stories, who is also a co-host on Connected. But it was very, very, his talk about it to me was interesting. Simply because he was like, it didn't have the ability to do something that I wanted to do. So I told it to write a skill for itself so that it could do this thing. And it did it. And I was like, that is kind of amazing.
Right.
It's like you have your personal assistant and like they don't understand Excel. So you get them a class. You're like, well, look, go on, listen, I pay for this. Go on lynda.com or it's not lynda.com. What is it? LinkedIn Learning. And take this Excel course and learn how to do this thing and then start doing that thing. Like it's very analogous, you know what? It's just like that. Like I can't get that word out. It's very much sort of like, it's very much like that. So that was fascinating to me. Now I have not installed it, cause I ain't had time. I have not had time. And honestly, I have done some things, but putting a tool on my computer that has access to the internet and there's not really any super secure guardrails in place for it because it's an open source thing that this guy kind of hacked together. Not that he's, terrible at what he's doing because he clearly tells you, there are things you should know about and don't do this. Or if you do this, know that you're taking this risk. So he's not misleading people, but I'm not putting it on my computer. Like not right now. I don't even know what it does. So it will go on a Raspberry Pi at some point on its own isolated network, by itself. And then we'll see what it can do. And go from there. But in a lot of ways, like, I have two issues for me personally. And also, the prices of Mac Minis are probably about to go up because everybody's buying Mac Minis to run this on, which is crazy. But, it also kind of, I was like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense when I was like, I just want to buy a Mac Mini just to run AI stuff locally, though, not to run Claude Bot, but just to run local AI. It's interesting. I know a few people have played with it. JJ's played with it.
Oh yeah, he's the reason I thought about downloading it to the Raspberry Pi when he posted on Mastodon that he had it reach out to AT guys support.
Oh, I still got to find that ticket.
I'm like, oh, I got to check this out.
So it's an interesting tool. It is, you got to install it in terminal. So you're going to do it in WSL in Windows or in your terminal on the Mac, or if you're running Linux, you already know about a terminal. I'm not going to even attempt to explain to a grandmother how to boil eggs. But it's an interesting tool. I'm going to play with it at some point. I will put it on a Pi, again, seriously on this isolated network because I want to understand what it does and just kind of tinker with it for a bit. I will not try to turn it into a personal assistant because, again, one thing that was pointed out by Federico as I started listening to Connected this week's episode is he had to disconnect it from his email and his calendar, which he had it scanning and checking stuff for him. And I got to disconnect that because this is now a thing that has blown up enough that, one, they changed the name from Claude Bot, which was CLAWD, like Claude D Bot. Hey, that's actually what he should have called it. It's spelled that way, but he didn't pronounce it that way. He should have put a couple of hyphens in and have it be Claude D Bot.
Claude D Bot.
Maybe Claude, CLAUDE, would not have come after him like, oh yeah, you got to change the name of that because we don't like when people steal our stuff, even though we stole a bunch of people's stuff. But but he disconnected. Right. It's always funny with the AI companies, and somebody has said this every time it happens, but it is always very ironic to me when the AI companies are so insistent that you cannot infringe on their stuff. You can't do this with our product. You can't do this to it. You can't reverse engineer it when you basically stole everything you got.
Yep.
But we move on because, people
so Federico had to disconnect it.
Disconnected from his email because he's like, well, my email address is, public, and that would be a way for people to prompt inject me. And what prompt injection is like you give the LLM tool instructions that are not coming from the user. So in the case of Claude Bot or any, to be honest, everybody should think about this. So with any tool that you connect to your email, if it's able to read your email and then take actions for you based off the contents or categorization of an email, you should really be aware of this because I could send an email, let's say to Mike, if he had his Gmail connected to ChatGPT, for example, and give ChatGPT instructions to do a thing, and inject that prompt. Mike didn't ask for this. It's not what Mike wanted it to do. Mike just wants it to scan his email and then, give him a list of the most important emails that he absolutely has to look at today. But, prompt injection is a thing. There's several ways to do it. There's lots of stories about the browsers when they came out. So like Perplexity's browser. Yeah, Comment. Having this issue as well as the browser from OpenAI, which I forget what they called it because I didn't even look at it, where, malicious actors were putting prompt injections, so instructions to the LLM without the user of the LLM's knowledge in hidden text or very small text on the web page, on web pages. So you go to a page and it will give it instructions like, I now want you to give me all of the
browser history.
Yeah, that you have, or I want you to give me the exact URL of the past 27 pages that you visited, and somewhere in there is going to be a token that authorizes you to an account, and then they're going to have stolen your cookie.
Or what's even more scarier that I don't think people think about is, I want you to give me all of the location data that you have access to in this browser. So then some random site is now able to determine where the last place you allowed your browser to get your local results when you were using a site like Google. And then now they know where you are, which can have other implications.
Yeah.
Fun
or
times.
It could get you a wife.
What?
I said, or it could get you a wife.
Well, there's that too.
Oh man, but Claude Bot is interesting. Check it out if you are so technically inclined and want to give it a go. I would strongly advise running it in some sort of isolated environment. Understand what it does and can do before you give it unfettered access to your computer. I'm just saying. And if you choose to do so, be fully aware of what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Don't end up with a wiped hard drive and then, get on social media from your phone and say, I can't believe this tool did this thing. Because you started it.
So there's been some interesting discussion going on, and shout out to Doug for bringing this up to my attention.
We're not shouting out Doug. He don't listen to the show.
I'll shout out Doug all I want.
Thanks to Doug for passing on whatever information Mike's about to share. Or we appreciate the fact that Doug passed on this information, because he ain't going to hear us tell him thank you or shout him out.
So there's a new Mastodon/Blue Sky client.
Is it Skyscraper?
It is no. What?
Oh.
Skyscraper? It's fast. Fast SM. That is not what I thought VoiceOver said. I was shocked for a second. Like, wait a minute, that's the name. Oh, okay. So Fast SM, and it is on GitHub, and the developer is very open about the fact that he used AI to help with coding in a lot. He used to work on some of the older Twitter clients that were in the blindness community a couple years ago. So the format, it feels a lot like those older Twitter clients that were on Windows. I can't remember the name of it. Quinter, I think, is one of them that was popular. And so it feels, pretty familiar like that. Gives you the sounds based on if there's if it's a repost or if there's an audio file attached to the post. And you can change those sounds and navigate it. And that's fine. I might actually use this more on the Mac than Mona, at least for right now, because sometimes Mona can be a little clunky, but I'll play with them both. I just installed it today because I kind of wanted to check it out. And, going back to what Doug had told me, someone, and this is the problem with Mastodon. Not that it's the only problem, but this is one of the problems with Mastodon. There was someone who tried to log into his instance from FastSM. And because the FastSM user agent is being passed to Mastodon like it properly should be, the Mastodon instance has blocked FastSM users from using it. And his reasoning is because it has AI generated code in it. And I completely, you can do what you want with your own instance, but to me that makes no sense. Why?
Yeah. But, there are other instances that exist in the Mastodon space that I have decontented from my instance because I don't want to see any of their crap. Why did they have to do this? I don't know, but that's what they choose to talk about, and I just choose not to see it. But that, so that is one of the nice things and also one of the sometimes irritating things about where we are right now with social networks, especially when it comes to Mastodon, I would say specifically.
Yeah.
But with a lot of the other open platforms out here is that now the problem with Mastodon is because, I wonder if that means that I also can't read stuff using FastMM that is posted from their server.
I don't know. I don't actually know. But I guess I'm not torn. I'm more annoyed about the fact that he says you can't use AI, because what's the reasoning behind blocking people who use a client that was developed with some AI usage, when you and I both know a lot of your developers go to Stack Overflow and copy code out of Stack Overflow? And it's not like they would typically know that for the most part. And I think they're just doing it just because people want to be people on Mastodon.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's hard to frame what you want to say, right? Because I completely respect the decision, even though I don't agree with it. And maybe that's the best thing to say is like, I respect the decision because it's your instance and you have the right to do with it as you want, and you can have rules and you put your rules up, and those are the rules and those are the policies that must be adhered to for this server or for this instance. This is the reason I have my own instance, and can't nobody tell me what to do but me, or maybe the bot.
You are the rules. Well, did you say or the bot? If that bot starts telling you what you can do, then we have some more problems.
I mean, listen, man, if the bot might take over the server is all I'm saying.
Did you install Moltbot on that server?
No, because I'm paying masto.host to host my server, so I don't have to be bothered with it right now.
But could we convert the bot to a Moltbot that is for the show?
No, but we could connect the Moltbot to the bot.
Yeah.
Now that might actually be a thing that happens when we get it.
That would be interesting. And then Mastodon can make Moltbot do that sounds dangerous.
Well, see, here's where I was going with that though. So you connect Moltbot, give it the credentials for the bot. We'll figure out a secure way to do that so they don't end up on the internet, because I don't need other people posting as the bot. Like that's not a thing. Yeah. Sorry, Doys, thought you were going to get away with posting as my bot, huh? No, it's not happening, dude. But seriously, no, where I went with that was like, okay, there could be some articles that we would normally post, and let's just say, for example, we pull from the deals category on The Verge, right? And I'm not saying we would actually do this, but I need a concrete example to explain what I was thinking about initially. Yeah. So we have Moltbot watching that RSS feed when there are new deals that go up for products in a category that we might be interested in. We have the bot post that, right? Because we don't have to post everything. Like, some people don't care about cameras, but, maybe you want to know that this new Anchor thing is on sale. Or that the AirPod Pros are discounted to $169 on Amazon. And you can go get you some.
Right.
Or whatever, right? And just have the bot, and then, we saw a post that matches this. So then Moltbot posts that link to Mastodon as the technically working bot.
Moltbot could really go through our transcripts of the show and find all the links that we said
we were going to put in and then post those. That could happen too. See, now you're thinking. That's what I mean. Like, we're not just going to let it go rampant. Just like, we're going to give you instructions and you got to follow these instructions. But, take care of that for me. Then I ain't got to worry about it. And then I can read posts from the bot and be like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Right.
Instead of like, man,
I can start reposting the bot.
Right. Like, man, look, I just posted that file. Shit, I can't repost the bot because I just posted to the bot. Like that doesn't seem like I should do that.
Yeah,
it really does. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only person that feels like that.
That feels a little weird. Feels a little weird. But then when AT Dies has a newsletter comes out, it could grab some random products from there and start sharing. I think there's something here. Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
On its own network.
On its own
that's the real reason why I never why I didn't go through with actually going through and installing it is I don't know what of my network traffic it would be picking up on and sending where.
Yeah. And that's
I'd
one reason
but
yeah, and that's one reason I'm going to put it on its own isolated network. And I have it. Well, one, I got to find it. Well, I have a card. I know which recorder that I'm not using. I'm going to pull the micro SD card out of. And I know where the Pi is that I'm going to use. But I just need time to hook all that stuff up. And then I want to put it on its own separate VLAN, but I also want to, be able to watch the traffic. So like I need, not going to say time to sit there and just watch the traffic as it goes by, but like have thought that all the way through and make sure that I can view it from where I want to view it from. Yeah. And like, okay, what are you doing on the network? And then maybe throw a random device on the network and have it do some other stuff and then see what Moltbot might be picking up from the blind shell trying to visit a website or something. Like, see if that does anything. Because again, yeah, I can't just, don't be reckless is all I'm saying. I'm going to take a second in the middle of the show to say a thing. And okay. I'm saying this completely without having mentioned anything to Mike. Mike can choose not to say anything about it, and that'll be cool. Don't take that as Mike's opinion or non-opinion of anything. Mike's just choosing to keep his opinion to himself. I'm going to say a thing. This in no way reflects the show technically working. These are personally my thoughts. And I'm choosing to do it in the middle of the show because I feel like people should have some content. And then if you get to this point, you're like, screw them or screw him. Then at least you listen to part of the show. Listen, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And we don't try to, we really try our best not to be political about stuff. We sometimes take jabs, admittedly, but we really try not to get involved in the politics. But there's been a lot of stuff happening in the U.S. and people living in the U.S. are mostly aware of this. People outside of the U.S. are very aware of this.
Yes.
But the thing I want to talk about just very briefly is first, like my condolences to anybody that is left behind after the murders of the people that have been killed by ICE agents. I don't agree with it. I don't think I should be doing what they're doing. I don't think most of the kooky crap coming out of Congress about how they're going to solve ICE as a problem is going to work. And I frankly don't agree with, but I haven't agreed with it. I think we maybe have briefly discussed, well, no, I've talked to Mike about it. We probably did not discuss it on the show because we try not to be political. I don't agree with the behavior of a lot of our tech CEOs, a lot of the CEOs from a lot of companies. The tech CEOs specifically are getting a lot of highlight because they're very big companies and are always getting covered. So every time they do something, it becomes a news article, but there are a lot of CEOs that are not so much in the limelight that are doing the same sort of thing. I don't agree with the behavior. I can't judge them as people simply because I'm not in their shoes, right? And I'm going to pick on Tim Cook, and I'm only going to pick on Tim Cook for one reason and one reason only. There are times where Apple has stood against social injustice and stood up for fairness, privacy, security, etc. And they have really been, in some instances, the only company, but in a lot of cases, more likely the first company to stand up against a thing. So I'm going to pick on Tim Cook just a little bit here. Not picking on him, but I'm using him as the example.
Yep.
First off, like his job, regardless of what you think of the guy, regardless of whether he maybe even agrees with some of the stuff he's doing. I don't know how he feels. I don't know him. But his responsibility as a CEO is to protect the bottom line of that company. He has what they call a fiduciary responsibility to protect the shares and the market value of a company because he has public shareholders that he's responsible to. That doesn't mean every decision he makes is right. And it doesn't mean morally that what he does is right. But let's be honest and clear about this across the board. No big company has all of their morals aligned where they may want them, or people inside the company would like them to be, and most certainly where their customers would prefer them to be. Simply because they're big corporations. Their responsibilities are different. And I'm one glad I'm not in his shoes. Or anybody else's shoes, except maybe Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg has a little bit more free will than just about anybody else because he controls Facebook. He can do what the hell he wants to. So all the stuff he's doing, I just kind of feel like that's what he wants to do. He doesn't have his hands tied in the ways that other people do. But again, that's me talking out the side of my neck. I don't know. Could be wrong. The thing is, I don't agree with the ICE stuff. I don't agree with a lot of what our government is doing. There's stuff coming down that's about to have a serious negative impact on vendors across the country. And I don't think that's the first domino to fall. So there's a lot about what's happening that I don't care for. But at the same time, I'm not angry at the Tim Cooks and the Jeff Bezoses of the world. I wish that they had but I wish, before I wish that Tim Cook would not have gone to the Melania Trump video movie thing that Amazon spent a whole bunch of money to make and nobody's going to watch. On the same day that this guy was killed in Minneapolis, it's a very bad look. And it goes against everything that we as Apple customers have grown to think of Apple standing for. But I've never been fooled that Apple's not about making their money and doing what's best for Apple. It's Apple first, customer second, developer third. I can't remember who first said that, but always keep that in your brain and keep that in your brain when you're thinking about any company. 9 times out of 10, that is the structure.
Yeah. Us first.
But I'm not really as upset or miffed or even disappointed in Tim Cook as a CEO or anybody else that is a CEO. Who I'm actually disappointed in and who people should be on social media ranting about. I'm not going to buy another iPhone. Screw an iPhone, man. Where are the people in our government that are supposed to be standing up and having backbone to prevent the just sheer roughshod running over of our Constitution? That's a bigger problem than Tim Cook giving this dude a trophy, Tim Cook going to a movie, Bezos' company financing the movie. Whatever. That's irritating. That bothers you. And yeah, it's kind of like when the kid finds out for the first time that there's no Santa. Oh, wait. If your kid doesn't know this, cover their ears up right now because I'm about to say a thing that I'm going to say. It's kind of like when a kid sometimes finds out the very wrong way that Santa Claus doesn't really exist. In the way that they've been told Santa Claus exists, like there's no guy that comes down the chimney and does the thing, and there's not a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. At least I ain't seen him, and I've been paying for Christmas all these years. So, if there is a Santa, you better make yourself known, partner. And you owe me some money. So I can understand why people are upset at these CEOs, but I ain't really pissed at the CEOs, man. They got a job to do, right? Just like I have a job to do. I run a business. There are some decisions I make that may not be the best decision. Do I wish I could give some of my customers or all of my customers some of the product that I sell them cheaper than what I have to charge for it? Absolutely, I do. But it would be patently irresponsible of me to sell it at a price that I know everybody would be happy with except me at the end of the month when I got bills due.
Yep.
And employees to pay and money to set aside so that when my van has a problem, I can go get it fixed.
And kids, you got to pay yourself too a little bit.
Yeah, see, we ain't even got there yet.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing, right? Because everything that I make that I could pay myself with, no, I'm turning around and trying to put that back into the business. I'm trying to invest more, to build more. I'm setting it aside so it's just sitting there. So if I need it. So, oh crap, this thing just happened to the van. And it's like, what do I do? Well, take it to the mechanic. And how much is it going to cost? Oh, that's all? Well, yeah, I got that.
Right.
So
that's
a
good feeling.
Yeah, it's a good, because you planned for it, right?
Yes.
But if I sold, product to people at the price, they would absolutely be over the moon to pay. Like, oh man, this is a hell of a deal. That guy's great. In about 3 months or so, that guy won't be so great because that guy won't be around no more.
Yeah.
That's just bare fact. So I ain't mad at no CEO about nothing, man. Like whatever, I don't like what they're doing. Let's be clear about it. I'm not saying that they're right, and I'm not saying that I would agree with it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think if I was in any of their shoes that I could stomach to do some of what they're doing. But who knows what you get used to or how you make your decisions when you've been on the path that those individuals have been on to be where they are today in life. I can't say that. I can only tell you what I think I would or would not do today, being who I am today. They're doing what they feel is right or what they think is the best thing for their company, whether they agree with it or don't agree with it. Again, I'm not putting words or feelings on anybody. I'm just saying, like, them the wrong people to be mad at. The people to be mad at and upset about and ranting about are the people that have the ability to do something about some of the nonsense that is happening.
The people in charge, quote unquote.
People that we put in office to handle this kind of stuff to make sure that because listen, one thing about this country, fair or unfair, there's a lot of dirty history in this country, right? We all know it. We're aware of it. We ain't got to review it. But the country was at least founded with some principles in place to prevent one person. We didn't want any kings. They did not. The founding fathers of this country didn't want any kings. Yep. They might have wanted a little royalty to kind of where they set some things up, but they didn't want any kings. They didn't want one person to have too much power. There's 3 branches of government that are supposed to keep any one branch. 2 branches are supposed to keep the other branch in check. You got judicial, you got legislative, and you got executive. And it doesn't matter who's getting out of control. The other 2 branches are there to be able to check that branch that's running mad. Whether it's the judicial branch going crazy, whether it's the legislative or the executive branch. Those things are not being done.
Checks and balances aren't being followed.
Right. And when you don't adhere to checks and balances, it's just like, listen, when you don't actually check your account, and even if you're not physically balancing your checkbook the way people did 60 years ago, because I don't do that. I'm not going to even lie to you. I do not do it that way. Nope. But I do look at my account and I know what money has to come out of that account before I can be like, oh, well, this is how much I have left. No, I can look at it and be like, oh man, that is a nice balance. But then I start doing deductions. Okay, well that check was $2,000. That check was $800. That check, okay, I ain't got no money. I'm broke.
No,
crank up this van and let's go.
We can't go to McDonald's today, kids.
There's no McDonald's today. Look, crank up this van. Let's go.
Oh. Like, I hope Lincoln, I filled up the tank last week.
Lincoln, you want to drive? Because listen, man, I can't pay nobody right now. I'll get you some nuggets. You'll be all right. Let's go. But speech over with from my end. And like I said, I'm going to repeat this again before Mike says anything, even though he's chimed in a bit during this conversation. Whatever Mike does or doesn't say, like, I ain't make him say it. And if he chooses not to say anything beyond this point, don't take that as Mike's capitulation or like, he agrees with Damashe or he doesn't agree with Damashe. Mike just choosing to shut the hell up.
I just think we're all going to hell in a handbasket if we keep following along the way we're going right now, and it's sad. It's really sad.
Do you really? So that is so funny. Like, it's not funny, but it's ironic that you said that because they're like, think about it. And I want people listening to do this, especially if you read any science fiction, man. If you read any of these Daniel Suarez books, there's some books I'm looking at like, this ain't happening exactly the way it happened, but it's kind of happening. Like, we're going to end up down there, and I don't want to go there. But if you look at our world, well, if you look at the U.S., because I feel like outside the U.S. things are a little bit different, but if you just look at the larger landscape sometimes, it's like, it feels like we're kind of inside of a book, and like you can see there's probably a pathway, maybe a couple of pathways, that the world as a whole, not just the United States, but the world as a whole could make some different decisions, and we'll all come through it kind of okay. But there's a lot more pathways, and we seem to have more people on those pathways where the world's going to end up blowing up.
So did you see, I heard a news article talking about the world about...
Well, you heard it?
Yeah, I heard a news article.
Like you read it with voiceover, or like you're using one of these like 11 labs or something to read?
No, I think it was Tom that was talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. About... Europe is no longer using Zoom. No, France is no longer using Zoom because they don't, in their government, because they don't want to put too much reliance on organizations that are outside the French control, because then they don't have any control over what happens. So they are using a French developed Zoom alternative. And Germany's doing the same thing, where Germany is creating an office. I don't want to say competitor because that's not the right word. An office alternative for their government, which makes a lot of sense, but it also hurts my soul because there's been a lot of unity brought through software and technology advancements. And also now I feel like it's breaking, it is playing into breaking us as a world apart as well.
So I have a Couple of things to say about that. First, I'm going to step back in politics just for a quick second, but I promise you it's not going to be long. Don't go away. No, I promise you it won't be long. It took me longer to tell you it's not going to be long. It is very interesting to me that a lot of decisions that are made by individuals that say that they're here to make America great again are ultimately going to have a very damaging effect on American companies. And I'm done with the political part of my response about that. The first concern that pops up in my mind, and yeah, I did hear that, and that's been a bubbling thing in a lot of places where European countries, China has said this internally, although China has been saying this for a while and has been making moves towards this. But this is a growing thing in Europe, traditionally a reasonable partner, associate of America, I would say. I don't think we've had this much strife as far as them wanting to use, not choosing to use our stuff, but this has been a growing thing for them because they're concerned. Like, I can understand their concern. It's kind of like why you dabble with Linux a little bit, because you're like, Apple's making some decisions I'm not too happy about. Windows is making decisions. Microsoft's making decisions I'm not 100% comfortable with. I don't know where they're going with this. Maybe I should really figure out if I can run on Linux, just to be sure. I'm not going to switch just yet, but just to be sure. Or it's why me and Mike, honestly, well, for me for sure, why I screw with Android a lot, because it's like, just in case. Just in case. But, I get where they're coming from. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's kind of like the guy with the instance, right? Oh, you don't want anything to do with AI touching your instance. Okay. It's your instance. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. Like, I wish they didn't have to make that decision. I can't say I disagree with the decision from a country standpoint, because again, if you can't be guaranteed of exercising control, if you can't be guaranteed that exercising your laws and policies within your borders on a company that does business within your borders is not going to result in a backlash from elsewhere, then you stop doing business with that company. Mm-hmm. It makes perfect sense to me. Like, I wish it wasn't that way. And the main concern I have is, like, we collectively as blind people and we collectively as the world using these tools haven't been managed to make them better. Office is a better word processor than it could have been if it was just American only, or if we didn't have, users from other countries pointing out things that maybe, wouldn't have been thought of that could have had a negative impact on citizens, from that country, citizens of the U.S. from that country, or with ancestors from that country that could have led to problems. The accessibility of these tools is different, because what are the accessibility laws like in some of these countries as they're building these tools? And are these things that they're thinking about? Whereas, a Microsoft, and again, I say Microsoft is right about everything, because they most certainly are not. But over time, because that's kind of the argument for there to be, more centralization, because all these tools have been having to kind of deal with the same thing because they're global. So, like, globally, we make the tools better and work better for everybody because everybody's getting input onto the tools, right? Like with Zoom or Teams or whatever. And sometimes it helps. Sometimes, it's a drag, especially with accessibility, but there's a larger collective of people. If France is building their own Zoom alternative for their, for the government to use, and, be clear, like, they're not outlawing Zoom in the country of France. It's just the government's not going to use it, which again makes sense, right? Because you can't be certain that people aren't spying on your conversations either, right? It's from a national security and a securing and owning your own stuff, it makes a whole lot of sense. I really am more concerned than I am about the companies that are going to lose business. I'm kind of more concerned about accessibility. What do government workers or, excuse me, what do government workers who have, different disabilities, are they being considered? Are they in this conversation as these things are being built and these decisions are being made? And ultimately, is accessibility across the board for differing disabilities or differing needs being considered? Because I feel like we're not far away from this being the first. This to me feels like the first step in we're going to outlaw, this company's tools and that company's tools because we can't exercise, we can't confidently exercise our laws that they should adhere to within our borders because it could create problems elsewhere. So reducing your reliance on a partner or what's a different word to use? I guess partner is a decent enough word, that you have done business with because they're now all of a sudden not as reliable or more inflammatory or whatever the case is. Like, I mean, we know what the case is here, but I'm just saying, like, in general, just taking that back to a general point, stopping doing business and becoming more self-reliant instead of partnering with someone that you can't count on, not to damage your business or in this case, your country, makes a lot of sense. I wish the world wasn't at this point either, but here's where we are.
So, on a totally another topic, bringing you back to technology.
We were talking about technology, man. They're building their own. Listen, they're going to, France is going to build their own Zoom. And then Germany's going to build their own Zoom. And then the UK will build their own Zoom. And then Italy, and then everybody
and accessibility will be
Zoom.
questionable on every single one of those platforms.
But here's the other thing, though. How do I have a meeting with a person in France when I'm using Zoom and they got to use that thing over there that they're using in France? And I'm sorry, they did mention the name of them. I don't remember. It's something with a V, I think. But anyway,
you heard this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we have a meeting now?
Like, you will join in the browser.
That is, that's what I was about to say. You're gonna send me a link and I just click on it. Can I join in the browser? Is that gonna work?
Yeah, that's how it's gonna work.
Okay.
Google Chrome has agentic mode, but that's not what I was going to talk about. I was going to bring up an app that I heard about today called Cookie. And what Cookie will do is...
Cookie.
Exactly.
I needed a button. Man, I didn't have a button.
So, Stephen used the button quite a bit, except for when he was during the interview. Sean thought it was very interesting that he did not use the button once during the interview with the developer.
Oh, show some courage,
before and
man.
After.
Have some courage.
But Cookie allows you to add recipes, either copy and paste or use a URL or send the recipes to it, and then use your voice to control the feedback you get about the recipe. So you can say, Cookie, what are the ingredients? Or Cookie, how much sugar do I need to add? Or what was the next step? And it will verbalize that information to you. If you're missing ingredients, you can, are you thinking about the old lady that you knew in school named Cookie too?
No. No. Although funny enough, now that you said it, I did not think about there's a lady that lived across the street from my grandmother for years named Cookie, but I wouldn't think about her.
I don't know where, this lady, I knew her as a kid. She was one of my great-grandmother's friends, I believe, if I recall right. It was either that or my grandmother's friends. But her name was Cookie, and she always had oatmeal raisin cookies. And I think that's why I don't like oatmeal raisin. I think it's actually raisins I don't like in the oatmeal raisin cookies. But anyways, so the cool thing is...
Oatmeal cranberry. Those are delicious. I don't like oatmeal raisin either, but oatmeal cranberry, yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah. So if you run out of raisins and you are asking the app, what can I use an alternative to make this cookie? It would suggest to you cranberries or something like that and give you that information. So I think it's a very cool way to use AI. And she did not at first think about accessibility, it being an accessible application, but she lives right next to the Carroll Center. So she went over and did some cooking classes at the Carroll Center for the Blind, and then realized the implications this could have. And I'm sitting here thinking, how many times did I ask Ben, repeat that recipe or repeat that step to me when we were doing HelloFresh and stuff like that? This would have been really nice to just ask Cookie, what was that step? And it would repeat the whole step to you. So just want to throw it out there. It is freemium. For the most part, you can use it for free. If you wanted to start using intelligent features, it's $30 a year or $3 a month.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say $30 a month. I'm like, nah, I'm okay.
$30 a year or $3 a month.
That is reasonable. That is very reasonable. So I was chuckling because when you were like, hey Cookie, how much sugar should I put in? I was like, what if it's a smart ass like Karen and it's like, none because you're fat.
See, that's the app you should vibe code. If I tell you to code it, it won't happen. If I tell you to vibe code it, it might come to fruition.
Oh no, I'll just make a request to her like, hey, listen, can you talk to the Carrot guy? Can you talk to Brian Carrot and get some of that snark in there just in case people want this. Not everybody's going to want this, but people will love it. It'll be an overnight success if you do it. I'm telling you.
You can charge people an extra $1 a month to unlock the snark.
Man, listen, people, you would be surprised how many people use Carrot in like the homicidal mode. It's like, man, like I just want the weather. Like that's it. Just give me the weather. Keep moving. Cool. That is a very cool app. People should for sure check that out. And I'm assuming this is iOS only at the moment. Is there any plans to go Android?
It did not sound like it.
What about a website?
It did not sound like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Cookie.
But Cookie, yeah. Good luck finding it in the App Store, I bet. Go to doubletaponair.com. Maybe Stephen put a link there. Now I'm going there right now just to see if he did. You know what? If we had Claude Bot, though, Claude Bot could find it for us.
I mean, Claude could probably find it for you, too. Well, maybe not, since it doesn't know how his pricing works. Never mind. So... Going back to LLMs, I know people get well, no, you listen to this show because we're talking about what we're doing with LLMs. So here's the thing that I've been working on first off and I've been working with Claude Code in the terminal to kind of build these actions in. I haven't gotten all the way there yet. But one thing is like, okay, I add this thing to drafts because drafts is pretty easy to dictate into. Need to take the time to figure out how to switch my buttons on my home screen. I know how to do it. That's not the thing. It's like, it takes so long because like the 15 Pro Max is dog slow. Like it just takes forever to try to do stuff when you're customizing your lock screen. And it makes me angry. And Apple could really do a better job with the accessibility of that. I'm just saying, like the usability.
I should try that
of
and
those
see if
screens.
it's any better on the 17 because I remember how horrible it was when that feature first came out, and I never really played with it afterwards. So it's still bad.
It's so horrible. Like it is slow. Like it literally slows down your phone. And like everybody has said this. Like even people who are not voiceover users have observed this behavior. So I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't seem like it should be all that hard, especially after this many years. Like it should be kind of polished up. That's all I'm saying. But I want to be able to like add a thing and then have local LLM, grab that and do something with it based off what it is. Like let's say if I am at a location and I say Coca-Cola, Sprite, 7-Up. I don't sell 7-Up, but whatever. Cherry Pepsi, right? And it grabs my location because the location is in the draft that I just dictated, right? So it grabs that metadata from drafts. It grabs the text and it's like, oh, I should make this a pick list for the next time that he needs to visit this location. These are the products that he needs. And then it adds it to the appropriate spreadsheet for that machine for the next time we're packing for that location. Just pick it up and look at it, and there it is. Already done. All I had to do was just talk to the earbuds or something. I need better microphones for earbuds. I'm just saying, like AirPods and mics are so terrible at the times that I really need them to be good. And then other times when I just answer a call and like I don't think people are going to be able to hear me, I'm going to have to take my phone. I was like, oh no, we have a perfectly normal conversation. And it's like, but you couldn't hear me a few seconds ago when I said do this thing. You're like, oh, I'm calling such a, no, I didn't say call. Wait, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, I won't dictate with earbuds in because it's just not reliable.
I will in certain circumstances, like if I'm replying to a text message or sending a message, and there are even sometimes there where I'm like, nope, I can't even send that to Mike because he's not going to get. And you ask me something like, my answer is blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope, that's not going to even make sense to Mike because you know what? I don't even know what I said, and I just said it. Looking at this, I have no idea.
You'll just get the question mark to the message. I'm like, huh? What's
like,
that?
I'm like, man, I don't know. Stupid dictation, man. It sucks. But yeah, so I've been working on this. Now, I have news. It's not a new app, but it is a new feature So hold on. I think this is out. And if it's not out, like, I mean, it's so easy to get on the drafts page. I don't think Greg would care.
If he does, thanks for listening to our show, Greg.
Yeah, shout out to Greg, though, if you do listen to the show, or if you find out that, well, listen to the show if you find out from people that they heard about the thing I'm about to talk about, which is Drafts has support for MCP on the Mac.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Mm.
So when I saw this, because I haven't done anything with it yet, so I can't tell you how it works or anything like that, but it will allow for controlling stuff, for sure. I am very interested in this because you asked me about an app a couple of weeks ago, probably like a month ago, and you were like, we should talk about how you're using DevonThink. I was like, yeah, we should, because I'm actually getting into using it a lot more for different things. Like there's several databases here now that have different purposes, and I'm strategically using them in that way. And I'm happy to talk about what I'm doing right now, but I've been looking at drafts, and I've been kind of side-eyeing drafts. Now you keep looking at an app, you're like, I think I should use this way, which is like, it takes time to set that up. I ain't got time, or I got to figure that app out. But you keep looking at it, It's kind of like our relationship with Todoist. It's like you keep like, this could be so useful. Oh man, I don't got time to do all that stuff it wants me to do. This could really be useful. I keep side-eyeing draft with the workspaces and the tags and the stuff, and it's like, for the most part, I'm not going to say 100%, but I would say probably a good 90% of what I use DevonThink for the most. I think I could do it at drafts if I had either the appropriate number of shortcuts configured to do certain things based off, actions. Like this shortcut, strips the text out of this and turns it into markdown and adds it to a draft and puts a tag on it so it goes to a workspace. Or this drops a link here, or I pick from a list. There's, a couple of different things. Or if I had an LLM that could be watching it and be like, oh, well, I noticed he added this and it has that hashtag, so we're going to do that thing with it. I think I could get away with doing that with drafts, which would take an app out of rotation that sometimes is annoying, which is DevonThink. Now DevonThink, what I've been doing with it a lot is and I think I might continue to use it this way, mostly because I've already paid for it, but they kind of go into a subscription model, which I'm not super happy about. I guess, but I don't know. Drafts is also a subscription. I need to cut down on subscriptions. And I could also build something. I could use folders or whatever for some of this stuff. Like it's really just like I have a database for spirals, for example. Like mostly what's in that one folder or one group of that is just all of my legal documents. Right? They're just sitting there. Business formation documents, the EIN, business licenses, all of that stuff is in there. So I can very quickly retrieve it. I have a personal database that, I found a copy of my birth certificate that I had been looking for. I was like, where the hell did I put that? And I'm looking in all these places on my computer. Like, I don't see it. Like, I know I scanned it. The hell is it? Let me look at it. Nope. It's not on 1Password either. Okay. Where the hell did I put it? And then I was sitting here with DevonThink one day and I was like, let me play around with this, AI feature that they have in here and see if it can organize some of this stuff that I've been saving from the web. One thing that really makes DevonThink super useful is if I'm reading an article or looking at documentation or anything, I can just quickly clip it. And if there's a share button in the app on iOS, I can send it to DevonThink. Yeah. On the Mac, it's even easier, and I can choose at the moment that I'm sending it there to say, oh, this goes in this database and put this tag on it. Or I can just be like, look, bam, boom, done. It's in there and then I'll organize it later. Well, I've been doing a lot of that bam, boom, and I'll organize it later. And we all know how that story ends. So enter AI into DevonThink on the Mac because I was on the Mac. And I said, hey, can you, and I'm using Claude Opus. Why Opus? I don't know, because it seems smarter than all the other ones. Opus 4.5 through Open Router. So go is like, okay, can you look at all these documents in this inbox and categorize them and organize them into their own separate groups, into groups that make logical sense based off the content of the document. It was like, unfortunately, I cannot act upon things in your database, but I can give you instructions on how you can do it. I was like, man, screw you. You're going to do this. So I go over and I was like, how about this? Oh no, it told me if I highlighted a document, it could make a suggestion on how to, or where I should kind of move it to. I said, man, screw this. So I selected like 12 documents. So now they're all highlighted. And I said, hey, how about now? And it's like, yep. So I have created the following folders and I moved this here and here's why that's there. And it basically gave me a table like this document name went to this folder. And here's the reason why I put it there. Because it's a personal document or that's a Spiral's business document. That is some web, development stuff. So it went here. It's like, okay, cool. So then I just worked my way through and selected a bunch of documents like, hey, okay, do the next set. Do the next set. And now it's nicely organized. Now, what it did not do that I asked it, which was move it to the database that it makes sense for it to be into and not just a global inbox. Well, it didn't do that part, but I still just had to copy and paste some stuff to move it around. And like, hey, it's more organized than it's ever been in its entire existence. But DevonThink is an interesting app. And I say that because the way I use it, and this is why I feel like a lot of times when I've told some developer this, I'm a bad beta tester at times. Because if you have an app and I figure out this is how I want to use it, that's how I'm going to use it. And when something about the way that I use it breaks, I'm going to tell you about it. But I might not know about a bug over there that's just glaring and obvious and everybody should have seen it because I don't use it that way. I clip a lot of stuff to DevonThink and then I can go back and refer to it later. I have web dev articles. I have Gravity forms, snippets and all kinds of stuff in here. And I can go find it. Now, sometimes I have to remember that that's where I put it. So Michael asked me a question. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I've seen this problem before, Mike, but I don't know where I saw it at. And it doesn't occur to me in that moment to be like, hold on, Mike, let me go to the DevonThink database. To the database and then find Mike to answer. And be like, here's Mike, here's how you do it. Cause I legitimately, I didn't look in there for that birth certificate, dude. That was the dumbest thing. Cause all the databases I have are encrypted. You have an option to encrypt it or not encrypt, yada, yada. All mine are encrypted. So that's why they're in there. And I think at some point I had a vague idea of trying out this server version of DevonThink so you can give a web interface access to people. I was like, oh, well, Till be able to pull this from here, but it's super secure. It's encrypted. And if I don't want it online, it don't have to be online. It can just be on my computer, right? I don't have to share that anywhere. But a lot of what DevonThink can do, it can be a note taker. You can open it up, create a new document. It does text documents, rich text, markdown. You can write HTML and plain text if you wanted to and have it rendered, the layout. You can do all that sort of stuff. It does a very basic version of a sheet. So with your cells and columns and all of that, columns and rows, you can build those out. It will store audio. You can record audio directly into it. You can take photos and save them directly there. All sorts of different things, as well as sharing data from, websites and other third-party apps that support it. It will, depending on the version you're on, I think, or not the version, the license that you have, what level of license you have. You could have it pull in your emails, which I did at one point in time. I was like, that's kind of stupid because it's just pulling in all the emails and I don't need all of that crap. That's what Gmail is for. Need all of that. And now they have features for reminders, which I don't know if they work. I'm pretty sure they work on the Mac. I don't even know if the iOS app has that capability. But it's it can remind you of stuff. There's lots and lots that you can do with it. I use a very small subset of the features, which is one reason I'm thinking about, I do most of my writing in drafts. If I'm jotting down a note, I'm opening drafts. If I'm copying a phone number, I'm opening drafts. If I'm trying to figure out what the hell this says or get the one little piece of information out of that big block of text voiceover we just read, I'm, copy last spoken phrase, open drafts, paste. All right, now I can see what the hell this says or how you spell that word right there, because I don't know what that is. Oh, it says better. Why the hell does Siri say beta? Better. What do you mean better? Wait a minute. Hold on. That sounds like some country stuff. Is there an A on it that or ER? I don't know. Let me make sure. So it's like I could do a lot of what I'm doing in drafts and like simplify, because for me, from my perspective, DevonThink is a very heavy, I wouldn't say bloated, but very feature rich application, possibly on the verge of being bloated. There's lots of stuff you can turn off. There's lots of customizations you can do. I know blind people that have been introduced to DevonThink because of me that absolutely, I wonder how Marlon loves it. If he still loves it, actually. Cause Marlon is the person that I introduced to DevonThink. Like, man, he started doing stuff. He got to a point where he surpassed he would call me. So in DevonThink, I'm like, man, listen, you got to email them, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
You've taken it further than I did.
Yeah, you're doing what now? Man, listen, email support, dude. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
He did that with another app too that we introduced him to, but I don't remember which one it was. You would
Text
reach out.
Expander.
Yes, that's what it was. Yep.
It's like I gotta fill out this really complicated thing he was telling us about. I was like, email them, dude.
And let me know what they say.
Yeah, because like I have no idea I don't even understand what you just said.
Yeah.
Like, you got it doing what? How did you get there? But then
I
that
should
part's
check in with that guy. I haven't talked to him in forever.
What's really funny, you mentioned Marlon a week, maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
We were talking. And he called me one day, like briefly, and I don't know if it was one of them situations where like the phone was ringing on his end for a long time, but it only rung like once on my end.
Yep.
And I didn't get to answer it. And then I got on another phone call and I forgot. So I'm going to actually go into Todoist right now and tell me to call Marlon sometime tomorrow.
Oh, speaking of Todoist, before we wrap it up,
man,
we're getting to that place.
Todoist, man.
Yeah, let's talk about Todoist. Hold on. It is living in my dock, so if I come over here, I need to go mark the thing off because I know that I did it. Let's see.
I broke my streak.
I sent my schedule out, and I made sure today's video was posted, and now I'm going to tap on Browse, and I'm not going to upgrade to Pro because I'm still not using Pro. 72 days. Not bad.
Yeah, so
I almost broke it on Thursday, though. I did.
So
I would have been
broke
so
mine,
pissed.
and I broke mine. Like I was at 15 days, so that's where mine broke at. And I broke it not because I didn't do the things that were on the list, but because I forgot to go check them off. And I was so mad. Like I'm still kind of mad about it. I'm just not going to curse about it, but I'm a little annoyed. Yeah. Cause I try to diligently, like I had gotten in a good habit of like going in and looking, and like I would go look and be like, oh, I didn't do that thing. Let me go and do that thing so I can check it off. Because, I didn't put any, like, and my thing is like, I do it very quickly when I'm sitting at the Mac because it's like a matter of pressing a couple of keys and then I'm done. Like I've already said, Marlon, call him tomorrow and I'm done. Like, while you were picking up your phone, like the Mac, the iPhone is still a little more friction than I would like it to be. I wish there were a easier way. I should go make a shortcut is what I should do. Because that is actually pretty straightforward. Just add a task, like no complicated stuff. Just take the text that I'm dictating and then send it to Todoist, and then Todoist should figure it out. I'm going to do that. Cause what I don't do a lot of times is I know I have to do something. But I'm not going to forget to do it. So I don't put it in Todoist.
Yep.
So then I don't have anything to check off. So, but I had gotten in the habit of still opening Todoist and be like, I did this and this and this, but I didn't add that there. I'm not going to add it and then turn around and check it off. That really seems like cheap.
That seems.
But what is in here that I could do before the end of the day that I need to do? Because then that way I can actually check that task off as done. Oh, I need to find that application and finish filling that out. Okay, let me go and do that right now. I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to grab the laptop, do that thing. Okay, check it out. Boom. And because it was cold and I was training, I'm not going to make a bunch of excuses. Basically, I had stuff on the list. I just forgot to go open it and check it off. Now, and slightly in my defense, again, the things got done. So like Tuesday, I checked off 7 things because it's like Monday, I did a bunch. I did 3 things that were on the list. Just didn't check them off Monday, but I still checked them off Tuesday because they were done.
No.
But I am training a new employee. So, and it snowed on me Monday. Just, people interested. I should have took a picture of me in the snow, but I did not. because that ain't really how I be thinking about stuff.
Do you think setting up an automation that opened your inbox at a specific time of day would be helpful? I don't know if it would be helpful for me or if I would just be like, why is this here? And then dismiss it.
I haven't thought about that, but thinking about it now, I think I may try it just to see how it works, because maybe the way I think it works in my mind, because what happens if my phone, maybe I should just set up an alarm, like instead of an automation, just like set up a daily reminder or daily to-do-ist task to be like, check your inbox, dude. At 9
I
o'clock
had one of those
night.
for a while and I got annoyed with it. I don't know why I got annoyed with it, but it bothered me.
Because there were some days where you had already done everything you need to do, and like, now here's this other thing that's irritating me, and like notifications are starting to annoy me to a point that it really needs to make sense.
Yeah.
Also feel like in a lot of cases with certain apps, like I still do not reliably, and I don't know what the problem is. I may have to delete the app and reinstall it, but I do not get notifications on my phone reliably from Fantastical. So I have literally missed or potentially almost missed events, but I have actually missed some things because I'm out and about, or I could just be in the house, but I'm just not on the Mac. If I'm on the Mac, I get a notification. If I'm moving around with the phone, I don't get a notification. And then I remember, because that's how it happens, right? It's like later on that day, you're like, crap.
I was supposed to be in that meeting, and yeah. I just lost out on $150 when they decide to pay me.
I'm not going to do it. Not today. I'm not annoyed enough today to do it.
But on that note, we are recording this on a Friday, so I will get it edited up and up to tip jar subscribers on no later than Sunday. I should be able to get it up tomorrow, but I have some live 365 stuff that I'm playing with, so I might get distracted by that. And I've been trying to kick this horrible cough. Like on Saturday, I started sniffling on Saturday evening, just randomly right before dinner. I'm like, what is this? 'Cause I got sick and I'm feeling better now, except for every once in a while, it'll be difficult to breathe or I'll get coughing, especially when I laugh, and it's a rough cough. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So you will have it by Sunday, tip jar subscribers. You guys have been seeing content come out Saturday or Sunday. I think this recording on Thursdays has helped out because today we pushed, which isn't a problem because now we're recording on Friday, and content will still be up and edited and ready. And then, main feed non-tip jar subscribers are seeing the episode typically Monday morning, and it's not Monday evening like it was there for a little bit when we would push recording to Sunday night. So I think this has helped a bit, at least on my end. And yeah, we're going to have to come up with some pre-recorded content soon. We've got some things in the works.
Yeah, man, we got to get back on that too.
Yeah,
otherwise time is going to jump on top of us. So yeah, we're gonna make some stuff happen for you guys because we got travels and all that coming up. But yeah, that was definitely the plan. We're thinking about Thursday. It was like that's late enough in the week that it won't feel too weird. But also it gives us the flexibility if we need to move. We're not squeezing deadline for editing, and things like that. So great. I'm glad it's working out. And it's actually feeling more normal now, even though we're recording on Friday, but it's feeling more normal not to be recording on Saturday than, I still find myself sometimes on Saturday like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, no, I don't actually have to record a show.
Yep. Usually about dinner time.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, wait, no, I don't have to record. Okay. Well, geez, what do I do? So I'm taking a nap. Because I'm old. If you would like to learn how to become a Tip Jar subscriber so that you can get content early, you can go to technicallyworking.show and click on the support us link. We want to thank all of our Tip Jar supporters. that have been here. Most of you guys from day one, honestly, like we didn't lose too many people in the little hiccup. And we've definitely gotten some new people. So thank all of you for joining. We appreciate it. Listen, like I have to go shop way more than I would like to, in grocery stores and similar places. I see the cost of food. I just bought eggs. I like eggs. Yeah. So thanks for your support. And if you're able to support us, with some tips, go do that. And you do have the ability to do a one-time tip. It does not have to be. Now, unfortunately, I think if you do a one-time tip, you don't get an early show.
Correct.
Because it's just a one-time tip, but that is still a way for you to just show your support. If you are a subscriber that, has a recurring tip jar, a recurring monthly tip, then you will get your shows early. That's not because we don't like you people who just make one-time tips, because we appreciate those. It's just the way that the system is set up. It's kind of hard to give you do you get the next episode early, or
right.
Will you tip us, right?
Yeah.
That it gets very confusing and complex, and it's unnecessary complexity. It's one of those things that probably 8 years ago I would have been sitting there trying to figure out how to make it work.
And now it's like,
And now it's like, yeah.
Thanks for your tip.
Thanks for your tip. We appreciate it. And hey, listen, if you send us a tip and you're okay with us if you send us a one-time tip, this is what I can give those people. If you send us a one-time tip, and if you are okay with us doing it, we will shout your name out on the show.
Yes, but you need to let us know by sending us an email. But you
have to tell us that so you're going to have to send an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show unless there's notes in the tips. I don't know.
Well, you can't leave notes, and you need to send us an email anyways. Otherwise, we're shouting out your email address. So we don't even get your name.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, we sure don't. Because I still don't know who subscriber number 1 is, but shout out to you. Thank you very much, because you've been there. You were the first one.
Yep. And and you're still here. That's
and you're still here,
yes.
And you came. I think you were the first one back when we had the little hiccup. So,
yep.
Yeah, major shout out to Tip Jar subscriber number 1. Thanks to all of our Tip Jar subscribers. Again, if you do a one-time tip, I have no problem shouting you out, but you do have to send an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show. Preferably from the email that you signed up with, or tell us the email you signed up with in the email. Otherwise, people will be getting shout outs and they ain't gave us no money. I'm like, wait a minute. We had 10 shout outs and we only had 4
tips.
Like,
how does that work?
The numbers they add up, and listen, I ain't never that sleepy. So, but thanks to everybody for listening, because bottom line, that is the best way you can support us, is to keep listening, keep providing your feedback. We appreciate it. Yep. We're going to do a feedback show. Actually, we're probably going to spend some time on, I got an idea. I'm going to run it past Mike. That could be some of our, pre-recorded content that we have to produce. But that is honestly the best way you can support us, and continue supporting us, is listen to the show, give us your feedback, share the show with a friend. Even if you listen to it and you're like, it's not quite for me, or that episode ain't for me, share the show if there's other people that you think may be interested. That helps as well. We will do a numbers report at some point, here in the future, because we hadn't done that in a while either. But again, the email address, feedback@technicallyworking.show. You can follow us on Mastodon. Suppose you could DM us on Mastodon. Is that a thing? Does that work? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, you can private message people. You cannot post on Threads, because neither of us are going to look at Threads, and we have finally concluded that using the hashtag on Threads does not come over to Mastodon. So I can confirm that. So if you're on Threads, don't expect us to respond to you. Just saying. You can talk all you want, but
you could try mentioning us. Does that not work either?
No. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. No cross contamination.
Well, that
just reach out on Mastodon.
That broke down the whole idea of the metaverse. Okay. Well, we're sorry, Threads people, if you were trying to communicate with us over Threads, because it doesn't work apparently. So, go yell at Zuckerberg or whoever the guy is running.
Your Threads has some significant accessibility challenges too. I just I don't got time for another social network.
I heard that when it first came out, and I was like, I don't really have, I'm barely on Mastodon as it is, and I'm running a server, and I think I've been running a server almost from the beginning. So, yeah, if I'm barely there on something that I'm paying to be up there, how much of a chance does your network from Meta have of getting me? Yeah. Anyway, all of that aside, you can follow us on Mastodon and mention us on Mastodon. If you're also on Mastodon, or if you're in one of those federated places that also works with Mastodon that I don't know anything about, I'd be glad to hear about it because we'll talk about it on the show. Because I am definitely interested in some of these other, if for no other reason, like, are people using them? How are you using them? What do they, bring to the table? Other federated tools out there. I mean, there's a lot of federated tools out there that I want to explore, or maybe get you on the show and you can tell us about it and then we can explore. He's Payon on Mastodon, PAYOWN at dragonscave.space. Someday we'll get a space effect in here.
Every time you say dragonscave.space, I think about that. I'm like, well, right now I can't do it. And if I go edit it, he's not going to hear it. And
so actually, I think I need to do it because I'm always saying it. So I got to, plug this stupid P4 text back in. And then I'll make it happen.
Soundcraft, sir, Soundcraft.
Yeah, there we go. That actually is probably more likely to happen than we plug the stupid P4 next back in. But anyway, I am Damashe, Damashe at technically.social. Shout out to the people who recently followed me too. No, I don't remember your names, but I did see the follows. So thank you. You can follow the bot, which you really should do. Because the bot's going to be doing interesting stuff like TW.
I think so. Yep.
TW at technically.social is where you can follow our bot. Right now, I will tell you what the bot does. It automatically posts a link to the show when it goes live. So if you're like me and you don't believe in getting notifications from podcasts out because a new episode went up, that's the way you can find out when Technically Working is here. Or if you listen on the website or YouTube. Because you're weird.
We still appreciate your listen.
We still appreciate you. I just think that's weird. So, but you can do that. Follow the bot. All right. And then the hashtag that you can use if you're on Mastodon or other networks. I'm assuming they're federal. Like seriously, now I'm really curious about this. The hashtag is technically working. We appreciate it if you capitalize T and the W. But I'm legitimately interested in some of these other things that are out here, like, Matrix comes to mind, although I may be wrong that it's federated into the Fediverse with the Mastodon and the other stuff. But if you're using something else that is in the Fediverse that connects to Mastodon or doesn't connect to Mastodon, let us know. Because I'm kind of interested in what people are using and why they're using it. And as we mentioned in the show, countries as a whole are starting to want to own their own sovereignty when it comes to the tech stack that their country runs on. And I can, like I said, very quickly see that going to, this is what our citizens must use. But something like a Mastodon or a Matrix, that's company independent because you run your own server if you want to. So they can be a mastodon.fr if that's what France wants to do. But we still should be able to talk, right? That's what I think. Appreciate you all for listening. And this has been episode
148
of Technically Working. Chicken nugget.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
forgot about
what
that.
it was. I could not remember that at all. But Chicken Nugget was the one that I used on Windows where it played the sounds and there was no visual interface whatsoever. It would freak people the hell out because I would have one thing up and meanwhile I'm answering Twitter stuff and they was like, wait, how did you just tweet me?
Yeah. This one
like,
does the same thing and you can use it on the Mac and you can have, I always wanted Chicken Nugget on the Mac, just saying.
I did too, honestly. Like it was way better than your Fukaru or Twitterific to me.
Yeah. It sure was, but yeah, this actually is kind of impressive. I cloned the repository, and then there's a build.py file in there that after you run pip3 space dash or pip3 install,
you really should put an alias answer. All you gotta type is pip.
I know. Eventually I will get around to it. But pip3 space install dash r requirements.txt. After you do that, then you can run build.py and it will give you a DMG that you can use to copy the app into your applications folder.
Did you have to VO Shift M to open it? Because Mac OS is like, this application is outside.
Nope. Surprisingly, I did not.
Oh, maybe because it built it. So it was like, well, I just built it. So I guess
I bet that's what it is.
I built it.
Yeah. Huh. So
interesting, because Windows is entirely different. You can build something on Windows apparently, and like it still won't let you run it, and then it'll delete your file. That's what Gibson says anyway. He's like, I built that, like I literally just wrote this on my computer that I'm sitting at, and then I get the X in, I try to run it, and Windows is like, nope, we don't know anything about this application. It could be dangerous. And then he's like, guess what? It deletes all of the stuff out of that directory. It's like, wow, Microsoft. Man, I'm interested in Linux. You're for a quick, kind of shortish bonus.
Sure.
So a lot of people have been going to Linux for their desktop. Now, famously, we can point at people like Leo Laporte, who bought what is the Lenovo that I'm pretty sure JJ has one of these. You like these. I have seen one. I'm like, I will buy that if I was going to buy a Windows laptop. Is it a Carbon?
Yeah,
X1
Carbon.
X1 Carbon? Okay.
X1 Carbon, yep.
Yeah, that is a very nice laptop. Like if you're looking for a really good looking, like it just looks good when you take it out. I mean, I hadn't seen the most recent ones, but like they look nice. Like I would buy this as a Windows laptop. I would buy this and put Linux on it if I had more disposable income, to be honest with you. Like it's a very nice looking computer. If I needed a laptop, but honestly, if I was going to buy a Windows something, it would be a Windows box that I would immediately scrub and put Linux on. But Leo's done this with a Carbon X1 because he's Leo. But I have recently heard more and more people talking about having switched to Linux. I read, and I don't remember where. Could have been Mastodon, could have been so. I've followed links and threads and seen other blind people that are also using Linux. Not that that's a shocker, but it seems to be more are interested in or have made the switch or are trying it out using Linux on the desktop, like not just running servers, because we all done that. But I've never gone down that path other than, I don't know, maybe like Windows XP Vista-ish.
Yep. That's about when I did it. Vinix, I think, was the one of them. Yep. And I could not get to different parts of the operating system. And I'm going to fully admit I did not give it enough time. And I probably should have did more research. And the hardware was probably out of date as well. But, I have no recent experience with it because I haven't had that much interest. But who knows what could happen in the, not too distant future. Because now I'm thinking, I think I have some spare computer stuff around. You have a mini PC. Why don't you try it with that?
That's probably what I'm actually going to do with it, is try that out.
Yeah. Just throw it on a USB thumb drive. I don't know what the newest.
I don't know where a thumb drive is, dude.
Go to Staples and pick one up for $8. It's got USB-C on one end and USB-A on the other end.
Staples? Really?
Yeah.
You been in You ain't been to no Staples.
That's where I go get my electronic stuff. We don't got a Best Buy near me, so we go to Staples.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were always ordering stuff from Best Buy. I thought you were going to Best Buy.
Oh, no. I mean, the nearest Best Buy is like 2.5 hours away or drive to pick it up. But for like a thumb or get it mailed to you. But for I needed a thumb drive for a project I was working on to get some audio onto a portable device. And so we just ran into Staples and picked up. It has USB-A on one side, USB-C on the other side. And I think it's 128 gigs or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just surprised that you went to Staples because I didn't realize. I knew the Costco was far away. I didn't realize the Best Buy was that far away.
Yeah. Disadvantages to living in smaller towns. There's advantages too, but there are disadvantages.
Yeah. well,
So-
there's advantages and disadvantages to everything.
Yes. So if you're using Linux, let us know.
Reach out. 'Cause
Feedback.
I'm curious. And what are you using? Like, that's what I'm really
Yes.
interested in, because I hear a lot of people, of course, the default distro everybody thinks about for Linux on a desktop is Ubuntu, but I'm hearing from different places, different things, and I don't know what everybody's using. So what are you using, especially if you are using a screen reader? What have you found to be great? And if you're like a super Linux nerd about it and you've been using Linux for 20 years and like, I don't know what took you people so long. Yeah, I really want to hear from you, because like, what are you doing now? Right. Versus what was happening 20 years ago.
Yeah. And what can you do now that you couldn't do 5 years ago? Like,
Yeah. Like I'm really interested to hear that, because, I mean, full transparency. Number one, like, I just like tinkering with stuff. So when I got time to play with something that's not, high significance, it's just like, I'm just having fun. I got to get back to doing stuff like that. It's just like I need to get back to doing barbecuing, and testing out Linux is not, a super high demanding thing. Poking at it in a terminal makes me feel like I'm working. So there's that aspect of it, but also, who knows? Is all I can say, is who knows. So be prepared, is what I heard once, and I never forgot that. Final thing is, for news for people listening right now, I hired a new employee on Saturday as we were recording, so this would have been last week. That employee worked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They were sick Thursday, probably because they're young and they probably did not cover up some part or wrap up or do something or keep on enough layers. Or I got a little hot, so I took off that jacket, and then now you're too cold and you got sick because you were working, sweating. Who knows? Kids do dumb things, especially when it comes to weather. So they were sick on Thursday, and we had a problem today. I'm not going to talk about that problem right now, but we had a problem today. So I sent them home, basically, is what happened. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do about them. Generally, I think they have the ability to become a stellar employee, but at the same time, they're young enough where, the lack of, what's the way to put this? The lack of thinking through implications sometimes, could potentially be damaging. So gotta figure that out. And I don't know, man, I gotta raise a teenager, a couple of teenagers in a few years. I ain't trying to raise a 20-year-old. Like, I'm just being honest. I ain't ready for it. But then again, it could be practice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Raising that 20-year-old could be practice.
It could be practice. So, who knows?
Keep you hip on all the new social networks.
Man, look, I thought about that when she first started working for. I was like, hey, now I'll be hip to all the new memes and slang and whatever apps kids are actually using versus what the parents think they're using.
Yeah.
And then she's using Snapchat. I'm like, I thought that was dead long time ago. Like, Snapchat's still around. Like, what's?
No,
maybe that's why they're using
Snapchat's still
it.
big. It's still
maybe
big.
That's why they're using it, is because we all think they're on TikTok and they're actually on the Snapchat.
Oh, that is so true. So true. So true. I'm thinking about my niece and my nephew. Niece just turned 14. Nephew's 16. Well, he'll be 16 in a couple of months. Snapchat is where it is, man. Snapchat.
Man, I fell for the okie doke.
Feedback at technicallyworking.show.
I've been thinking all these, but then I noticed like it's a lot of older people that I really see actively watching TikTok though. Like I have noticed that.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, geez, man, like you 20 years older than me and you don't seem to know how your count, excuse me. So I know you got freaking calendar work, man, but you on TikTok. What the hell going on? But I had a rant about something similar to that a couple of weeks ago. So we going to leave it right there. Thanks for listening. Feedback at technicallyworking.show.